Hey everybody, this is Jo here in my Houston, Texas garden. I'm in zone 9A and I'm going to do a little video on how to propagate ivy geraniums. So this particular ivy geranium I have had for about a year and a half and it has remained beautiful that whole time. I've cut it back once before, but it has just been fantastic. Now it's hot July in Houston, and it's kind of gotten bleached out, and I've just fertilized it, and that usually has taken care of that problem before. So it has gotten a lot of, it hangs down, but it's been a little bit scruffy in the middle, and so over time, the last couple of months, I've pulled out any rough, ratty leaves. But what that's left me with is you can really see the soil in there, and it's a little bit thin. Now here's one. It's a little bit different kind of ivy geranium, but you can see the difference. Now I just pulled a big leaf out of there, but you can see it's much more mounded and much more green all the way through and not so thin. So I'm going to show you how I propagate these. It couldn't be easier. So I'm going to take this one, and the first thing I'm going to do is cut the flower off. I don't need that. And then I'm going to follow this up and figure out, well, where do I want this to bush out a little bit more. And so I think I'm going to pick sort of this node right in here. So I'm going to cut all of this back and it will grow back. We will get new leaves from this spot, and it will bush this out a little bit on this side. So I'm going to take my cutting. And this is very Martha Stewart, where, like it's already baked in the oven, and I'm going to show you the after. So I'm going to take this piece and I am going to make it smaller. What I want is the tip right here with the new leaves, even though they're this color, I'm going to do it anyway. So this is soft up here, but it doesn't take very long for the geranium to get kind of woody here. And that's what you want, is the firm, woody part. So I'm going to cut this short. I want to cut it small like that. Now the roots are going to come from a little node where I've cut leaves off. And so I want as many of those underground where they can make new roots as I can. So here's the one I've already done. This little guy. I've got the end, and I've just left 3 leaves. I might leave maybe just 2. I don't want to stress the plant out, but you can see the roots will come from here and from here. So I want to get as much of that underground in the soil as I can to give it more chance to grow roots. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm not going to put this in the ground yet. I'm going to let all my cuttings sit out here, and you can let them sit for a day. You could probably let them sit out here for 5 days. But what you want is for it to dry out a little bit and to create a little, a little scab basically on the end, so that it doesn't let any pests or diseases into the end, but it also will help it not rot. So imagine that this has been sitting on this table, or it can be inside, outside, doesn't matter. Let it dry out a little bit. Imagine this has been here for 48 hours or so. I'm going to take it, and here in my pot. So this, again, Martha Stewart, this is what I've done probably 3 months ago, and they're already rooted, and this one's already bloomed. You can see its little end of its bloom spike. This one's already bloomed even at this small. So what I'm going to do is make myself a little hole, and I'm going to make it pretty deep. Oh, there's a little plant there. I don't really want to get in the way. And I want to see if I can get both of those little nodes into the ground. Oh, well, it has one less leaf now, doesn't it? I've fiddled with it enough. And it's going to go as far in there as I can, and I'm going to cover it up, and I'm going to leave it, and I'm not going to water it very much. I'm going to water it a little bit, maybe once a week when it's hot, maybe once every 10 days when it's nice and cool outside. And I'm doing this is July, and I'm doing this because I'm going to keep this in the shade. I'm not going to put this, these are not Houston, Texas full sun plants. They'll take full sun when it's 60 degrees outside, or 50 degrees, or even 40 degrees. But when it gets hot, I put them in the shade, and they will bloom even with an hour or two of sun. So after I've done this, I'm going to wait. I'm going to plant this after it's dried out a couple of days, and gently water, not too much. The thing I'm going to do now with the mother plant over here is I am now going to fertilize it. And so what I use as fertilizer is any kind. There are different, there are different brands, but I like the liquid seaweed fertilizer. And you just put, a tablespoon in a gallon of water or something like that. And I will do that about once a week, maybe every 10 days, and that will help boost some new growth on this. The other thing I'm going to do, now I'm going to keep propagating, but I'm going to take every flower off of this because I want this to now concentrate on new growth. So when I will go around and clip all these hangy pieces off, and it'll be pretty bare for a while, but it'll be worth it because in a month, maybe 6 weeks, it'll all flush out, bushier, greener, and start to bloom again. You can see, I'm going to show you one that I've already done. This is the exact same variety here, and you can see I've clipped the edges. I left enough of it, so it's not terrible looking, but you can see I've cut all the hanging down parts off fairly hard. The one I cut really hard is over here. It's a different kind of ivy geranium. It has a little different flower, a little smaller leaf, and it actually hangs down much more. It has a lot more pieces, little stems that hang down. And I cut this about a week ago, and it looks so sad. But I have cut this exact one down this tight. In the last maybe 6 months. I maybe did it right after Christmas, and it came back beautifully. And one of the things I really need to do is cut both the flowers and the little buds off, so it will concentrate on new growth and not on giving me any flowers. And I have just fertilized that as well. Well, I hope you guys found this helpful, and I hope you guys will find some beautiful ivy geraniums to try in your garden. Have a wonderful week. Happy 4th of July. Bye-bye.